An absolute disaster is unfolding in professional football, and the shockwaves are tearing through the league faster than anyone anticipated. Behind closed doors, team executives and head coaches are dropping absolute bombshells about the state of the quarterback position, signaling an unprecedented crisis that could alter the entire landscape of the sport. Imagine sitting at the pinnacle of athletic achievement, only to be branded as rock bottom by the very people who build championship rosters. That is the harsh, unforgiving reality facing some of the most talked about signal callers in the game today. Welcome to a world where expectations are brutally crushed, where multi-million-dollar investments are written off as total disasters, and where rookie hopes hang by a fragile, terrifying thread. What you are about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about the current quarterback hierarchy. But before we pull back the curtain on the most controversial rankings of the year, ask yourself this: how long can a franchise survive when its most expensive pieces are rated lower than unproven backups? The answers will stun you, but you are going to have to stick around until the very end to comprehend the true magnitude of what is happening behind the scenes. The ultimate disrespect, rock bottom every single year. The prestigious annual quarterback rankings compiled by industry experts send massive tremors through the professional football ecosystem. Evaluators rank 35 different signal callers from top to bottom, categorizing them into distinct tiers that expose the elite from the expendable. At the very bottom sits Tier 4, a devastating classification reserved exclusively for unproven players and fading veterans whom franchises would desperately want to replace before a full season even begins. According to anonymous general managers, veteran coordinators, and seasoned head coaches who helped shape these brutal evaluations, the bottom of this list represents an absolute embarrassment. When the final standings were published, two names found themselves locked into the most catastrophic positions imaginable. One of them carries the heavy burden of a massive contract and lofty expectations, while the other is a young rookie trying to claw his way out of the fifth-round abyss. The disrespect was instantaneous, and the psychological impact on players who thrive on proving doubters wrong was palpable. But as shocking as these rankings are, the statistical proof backing them up is even more terrifying. How did two players expected to anchor an offense end up occupying the absolute cellar of professional football? The story begins with a veteran whose career trajectory has taken a nightmarish turn, and trust us, you are not ready for what the top decision-makers in the league are saying about his future. The fall of a giant. To understand the sheer magnitude of the situation, we have to look at the cold, hard numbers. Since a blockbuster acquisition brought a certain high-profile quarterback to town, 60 different signal callers have managed to start at least 10 games across the league. Out of those 60 players, this specific veteran ranks an abysmal 59th in expected points added per pass play. Only one player in the entire league sits behind him at the 64th spot. Think about that for a moment. Hundreds of millions of dollars invested, years of strategic planning, and the statistical output places him dead last among his peers. When top-tier executives were asked whether this player could realistically anchor a franchise for an entire grueling 17-game schedule, the response was chillingly definitive. One veteran general manager bluntly stated that nobody in their right mind could project this player to survive a full season as the definitive guy anymore. The consensus around the league is loud, clear, and utterly devastating: the chapter is finished. An offensive coordinator went even further, stripping away any remaining optimism by declaring that true instincts, fierce drive, and elite processing skills cannot simply be manufactured overnight. According to coaches who have studied every frame of available film, those traits have completely vanished. Another former general manager confessed that the situation has deteriorated so severely that it is difficult to even assign a proper grade to the player anymore, floating him anywhere between Tier 3 and Tier 5, with the overwhelming majority agreeing that he is completely washed up. You do not magically turn 30 years old and miraculously rediscover physical and mental traits that have been absent from your game for 3 consecutive seasons, especially after missing crucial development time and sitting out entire stretches of football. Yet, in the midst of this overwhelming tidal wave of negativity, an unbelievable twist emerged from an unexpected source. Who in their right mind looked at this train wreck and decided to bet the house on a miraculous resurrection? The lone believer in Tier 2. Amidst a chorus of condemnation, a single dissenting voice echoed through the league's coaching circles, sending shockwaves through analytical departments everywhere. While 99% of the football world cast this veteran down into the deepest depths of Tier 4, a solitary head coach boldly placed him all the way up in Tier 2. For context, Tier 2 houses elite company like Lamar Jackson and Drake May. To place a struggling, highly scrutinized veteran alongside those names sounds like absolute insanity. The rationale behind this jaw-dropping placement: a firm belief that a brilliant offensive mastermind taking over the play-calling duties could somehow unlock what little magic remains in the tank. This visionary coach argued that a scheme relying heavily on reading the entire field rather than dissecting complex coverages would drastically benefit the veteran's dwindling skill set. Is it possible that an offensive system built on shotgun formations and rapid decision-making can breathe new life into a career that most have already buried? Some insiders whispered about old-school philosophies and deep-rooted coaching trees, sparking heated debates across social media about who dared to make such a controversial gamble. But while the debate over the veteran's ghost rages on, an even more polarizing figure waits in the wings. Why is a rookie who barely saw the field being dragged down into the exact same catastrophic tier, and are evaluators making a monumental mistake by writing him off before his journey has even truly begun? The rookie in the crosshairs at the absolute rock-bottom spot of the entire 35-man ranking sits a young rookie whose entry into the professional ranks was met with immense fanfare and relentless skepticism. Ranked dead last at 35 out of 35, this newcomer found himself on the receiving end of some of the most vicious evaluations ever recorded by anonymous team executives. One high-ranking executive didn't mince words, claiming that the rookie is fundamentally inaccurate across all three levels of the field and highlighting a chasm-sized gap between his current level of play and competent professional quarterbacking. Statistically, out of 37 quarterbacks who managed to start at least 7 games during a recent brutal stretch, this rookie hit rock bottom in expected points added per play, trailing right behind other young struggling signal callers. The disrespect reached a fever pitch when an anonymous defensive coordinator delivered a quote that belongs on a bulletin board for the rest of eternity. The coordinator admitted that they would sleep like a baby every single night knowing they had to face this rookie on a weekly basis, calling him a sluggish, late-reacting player who struggles to read through complex coverage shells. It is staggering to think about how a player who generated legendary college hype could slide all the way down to the 5th round of the draft, only to face immediate slaughter from professional evaluators after a handful of starts. But hold on for just a second, because the plot thickens dramatically. While opposing defensive masterminds are laughing from the sidelines, inside the building, a fierce internal battle is being waged over this rookie's ultimate destiny. What do offensive coaches see behind closed doors that the rest of the football world is completely blind to? Finding hope in the chaos, not everyone inside the professional coaching fraternity is ready to throw the rookie into the fire and lock the vault. A seasoned offensive coach stepped forward with a radically different perspective, offering a lifeline of hope to a fan base desperate for a franchise savior. This coach compared the arrival of a new offensive coordinator to a vital hard reset, drawing parallels to how innovative offensive minds have successfully salvaged young careers in other major cities. With a fresh start under a strict, no-nonsense mentor who previously worked wonders with explosive dual-threat talent, the rookie finally has a legitimate fighting chance. However, this opportunity comes with an ultimatum. If the young player is truly dedicated to mastering the playbook, executing rigorous film study, and running the huddle with absolute precision and efficiency, areas where he notoriously struggled in his initial limited action, the hidden upside is massive. During brief flashes on the field last season, this rookie uncorked breathtaking, jaw-dropping plays that left teammates and coaches in awe. We are talking about 50-yard missiles and 60-yard scoring strikes that put his raw arm talent on full display. Those are explosive moments that other quarterbacks on the roster simply could not replicate. When you factor in that he spent his entire rookie year operating behind one of the worst offensive lines in professional football, throwing to a receiving core plagued by drops, and playing in a scheme that completely handcuffed his natural instincts, writing him off after a tiny handful of starts is completely irrational. Yet, the tension within the locker room is palpable, and the daily competition on the practice field is revealing unexpected heroes and shocking truths about leadership, culture, and the grueling path toward building a true contender. The crucible of training camp as the scorching heat of summer practices bears down on the team facilities. Every single rep is heavily scrutinized by coaches, analysts, and eager fans alike. The battle for the starting job and the development of the supporting cast are creating a pressure cooker environment where legends are born and careers quietly disintegrate. Consider the fascinating narrative developing around the trenches, where elite defensive playmakers are taking it upon themselves to shape the future of the franchise. Picture a star defensive end, completely bought into a winning culture, spending extra hours after a grueling practice working one-on-one with a young rookie offensive lineman who was visibly frustrated after getting repeatedly beaten in drills. That kind of selfless leadership is rare. It is the hallmark of a team that is utterly sick of losing and determined to forge a new identity. This level of vocal, action-driven leadership stands in stark contrast to whispers surrounding former locker room stars of the past. Rumors and social media speculation have relentlessly questioned whether past franchise cornerstones brought the right attitude to the facility, or if prolonged frustration and sideline outbursts poisoned the team's chemistry during lean years. While the past is firmly in the rearview mirror, the present demands absolute accountability. Furthermore, the offensive coaching staff is facing critical decisions regarding depth and protection. With a rookie left tackle navigating the steep learning curve of the professional level, smart contingency plans are already being put into motion. Reports indicate that alternative offensive linemen are currently in the best physical shape of their lives, providing the coaching staff with a reliable fallback option if the rookie isn't quite ready to anchor the blind side in Week 1. Nobody wants to rush a young protector into a disaster scenario, ensuring that every strategic move is calculated for long-term success. The unwritten future as we stand on the precipice of a brand new season, the narrative surrounding this storied franchise is infinitely complex. Will the veteran castaways prove their relentless critics wrong and author an impossible redemption story? Can the young rookie harness his immense raw potential, master the nuances of a high-powered offensive system, and finally silence the anonymous executives who branded him the worst player in the league? The answers are buried beneath the sweat of training camp fields, the tactical genius of the coaching staff, and the unyielding willpower of players who refuse to let their stories be defined by a single catastrophic ranking list. The margin for error is razor-thin, the pressure is reaching a boiling point, and the entire professional football universe is watching every single snap with bated breath. When the lights finally turn on and the first official kickoff echoes through the stadium, everything we think we know will be put to the ultimate test. One thing is certain, the journey ahead is going to be an absolute roller coaster ride of triumph, heartbreak, and unforgettable moments, proving once again why this sport captures the imagination of millions around the globe like nothing else ever could.